All right, everyone, welcome. Today, we're looking at a game that I played a little bit longer than some other ones, so I can't really call this like a first impressions. But I think it's a game that's really worth the time. I love playing this game. The game that came before it, Freedom Planet 1, or just Freedom Planet, excellent game, incredibly fun. I'd pick it up on, well, wherever you really want. I played it on PC. I know it's on the Switch. It's definitely a fun platformer. But let's talk about what this is, because I think this is such a good game and it is so worth your time. Like, you should definitely play this if you miss the old school kind of Sonic games and you want something that's a little bit more modernized and has some nice features to it, and actually a character selection that doesn't feel bad, like you're not playing, you know, a big fat cat with a fishing pole. Let me load up a file with a few different characters here, or maybe I'll just start a new game really quickly to kind of give you guys an idea of what this looks like. Yeah, let's do that. First, I'll just show you the characters, because they all do look pretty cool. We have Lilac the dragon, we have Carol the wildcat. Yes, it's very Sonic sounding, in case you didn't catch on to that already. There's Mila the hound, and there's Nera the frost knight. Now, all these characters play pretty differently. Mila doesn't have like a quick launch attack like Lilac does. She does this like, it's like a dragon rush, but basically she just shoots forward really quickly like a comet. It's pretty cool, pretty useful for moving around. Carol has a motorcycle she can pull out sometimes, but generally she does like a lot of jump attacks and she does like a lot of physical hits. She's pretty cool to traverse with. Mila has like these energy cubes, which you can kind of see above her, which she can kind of Hadoken out like Ryu from Street Fighter. And then she has a strange kind of monk-like attack for her basic attacks, but really you don't use that much. And Nera has a lot of ice-based magic attacks that go with her spear, and she can alter them quite a bit and do a surprisingly high amount of damage too. They all play differently enough that I'm very excited to go through all their different levels. I've only started by playing with Lilac because she's the, you know, Lilac is the main character, so to speak. And so I wanted to kind of play through her story first before I get to everyone else's. I'm going to quickly demonstrate what some of these characters' gameplay is like, just so you guys can get a taste of it. So you can see, okay, like this is the difference between one or the other one. So let's take a look at Nera first, just so you can see how it is. I'm just going to select normal. And I'm going to go in here. It gives you a tutorial too, so if you don't know how to play, the game teaches you, and it shows you specifically what your character can do. This is a good chance to see how things kind of go. So they give you your basic, you know, how to move, how to jump. Double jumps are there, which is always nice. Now, not every character has a double jump either. For Lilac, you have, like, you jump and then you can kind of do something that gives you a little boost. Like you could do a spin, or you can do an uppercut attack, which gives you a little extra height, but it's not as easy as jumping with Nera. So everybody has slightly different movement stuff going on. Let's just take a look so you guys can see some of the level. So here we can see the attack animations. This one can shoot. Not everyone's is just like a simple attack and then follow up. Some of them have much longer like follow pits, but you'll see that later. But again, that fits in with the whole everyone's different. Now, one other big thing that's kind of cool, I don't want to like spoil it necessarily, so I'll wait. Okay, yeah, so depending on which way you're aiming, your attacks change. So if I hold my attack, I do like repeated shots. Pretty helpful. If I do an up attack, you do an uppercut strike, which you can do in the air, of course. So if anything's above you, if you do a down attack, you do this big like stomp, which shakes the screen, which is very satisfying feeling. And these do hit harder or lighter depending on what kind of attack you're doing. I know like on Lilac, I don't know why I keep saying Lilac, it's her uppercut does hit a little harder than her other moves. I'm not sure about Nera yet because I haven't really played a lot with her. I just did the tutorial with everyone. I really like Nira's character, though, in the game. Oh, and here you can see another attack that was just following up after a normal stab. It's pretty cool. But yeah, like, you can start to learn how the character kind of plays in the tutorial, which is nice because things get a lot harder than just, you know, what's going on the screen currently. Now, everyone also has specials. So first I'm going to sit here just so you can see something. We also have dodges. So you can actually quick dodge pretty often. So even with bosses, if you're careful, you can use that to kind of power stance through something, or, you know, just dodge right through it. Which I really love for making the combat work with speed. One thing I've always hated in like Sonic games is running into something and dying too. Here you can see they made the very wise decision of making it so you can just run through an enemy, and that doesn't actually physically hurt you. Unless it's like an enemy that has like a fucking drill on it, and you run into the drill, yeah, that's gonna hurt, you know, if it's moving. So if an enemy has like an obvious point of damage, then yeah, you're gonna get hurt by that. But just walking past them, no problem. The timing for this isn't so bad. You get a lot of frames for that. You might also notice a meter is going down while I do this with Nira. Everybody has like a slightly different follow-up to their dodge. Lilac has, for example, a attack you can do right after dodging. I forget what Nira's thing is. We'll see in a second. But okay, special attacks too. So in addition to having just her normal basic attack stuff, there's also special. So she shot this little thing. I don't know if you could see it super clearly, but it shoots out and then it freezes the enemy, and then you can just kill them. That's pretty nice. If I do the up version of this, it's a really cool attack. Like, it actually feels pretty strong. Of course, with her charges, you know, it takes a while. You can look at the screen, you see that little meter going up. You have to wait for that. And then her down attack does that, which lays these little mine things, which will hurt the enemy if they go on it, and you can jump off of them. So that does give you a lot of options for how to attack and how to play as this character, which is cool. I like that they have some depth to them. And here they're telling me just to do this aerial thing, so I do that, boom, easy. Sometimes I still get crossed up by trying to do a dodge and then dodging too soon and then I get hit. That's not uncommon. I'm not the best at all games, especially when I'm trying to talk. Okay. Okay, so she won't flinch when she's in focus state, so when you block, you'll attack faster. Oh yeah, so you become a machine gun. So it encourages you to keep dodging, which is pretty nice. Yeah, so the more you attack, the more you collect crystals, the more your meter recovers. Which means being active is encouraged. Creating cool combos is encouraged. These little orange things I'm collecting, little yellow things, they are like a currency you can use to buy special items. I'll talk about those a little bit later. Movement's easy. They tell you exactly how it works. You can run on ceilings if you just keep holding your movement button. Everybody has like a unique like dash animation. Only thing I don't really like is that when the screen comes further out, you might notice it. Like, some of the graphics get a little bit less pretty, because they're really nice looking pixel graphics. But once you get a little further out, it can look a little like rough sometimes. But honestly, the art style is super good. The animations are great. The you know, the poses the characters can take, they really go far out, so to make it look good. So I am very happy. This is a story-based game, so there are, you know, little cutscenes like this quite often as you complete missions. So we'll just take a look at this one, so you guys can see kind of like the intro, the big reveal. This does follow the first game. You don't need to have played the first game to understand what's going on. They will explain a bit of it, but I still recommend playing the first game. It's really fun, and if you happen to like this kind of game, if you like old school Sonic games and you want something that's a little bit more modern, a little newer with some more options, I think this is an excellent choice. It's just really fun. The music is great. Everything about it is just so good. I highly recommend it.
Like
oh, and it's voiced too, yeah. Which is really nice.
Let's get this over with. I have business to attend to.
Now she's like, you know, the trope of the harsh panda lady, which of course I have to like, because in case you can't quite tell, my my little avatar there is supposed to be kind of like a red panda. It's from World of Warcraft mostly. Obviously, they don't look humanoid, but you know. Okay, so when we get to levels, there tends to be a gimmick to levels. This is the first, the first real level. There's usually some gimmicks, some unique things. Oh, I didn't actually know that she created ice behind her on the trail. Sorry, I'm gonna look at that because that looked pretty nice. I don't know if it can be used as an attack, but yeah, there's things like this, that vine, which are like a mechanic because you can launch yourself off of them and do certain things. Sometimes there's like special types of platforms or certain things that bounce you upwards. It depends on the level you're in. I really like playing as Nira, she's cool. But also because I've probably been used to Lilac for so much that doing something different is unique. Now, you could just blitz through the levels, and I'm just going to show you some basic mechanics. You could just blitz through levels. Yeah, there's your typical, launch pads, in case you were uncertain that this was, kind of like Sonic. You could just blitz through the levels, but you can also explore, and there is a reason to do so. So when you look around, there's more chances to get, those coins that I just picked up, or crystals. If you get enough of those, you get an extra stock, which you don't often need if you're playing decently. I don't play like on the hardest difficulties where like I can die instantly, but it is an option. But I just failed because I'm not Lilac and I can't launch myself. I'll show you guys that later, but with her you can do some pretty interesting tricks. So you might find chests that contain either a huge abundance of crystals, or you might find chests that have music in them, which is pretty handy, or chests full of those the things the monsters drop. Those like little yellow circles, or yellow orangish circles. I think they're gold, actually. I don't know why I keep saying yellow orange, but yeah, you can get those, and those can be exchanged for special things you can equip too, because you can equip some things. Not that it's mandatory, but exploring a little bit can be quite beneficial. Let me see if I can actually get like an aerial attack up here. Yep. So sometimes using mixes of moves, using different combinations, you can get a little extra height, and that can mean you can actually traverse pretty far. You can find items like this which give you 2 free hits, and often do something like absorb, crystals around you, or have some other like effect. And so if you speed through an area, you're gonna miss a lot of those chests, a lot of those items. You're not gonna get as much there. Of course, you might notice there's a timer. The timer does not say that you can't take your time doing things, though. I still get A's and B's on missions, despite my taking time, because I tend to take time with the missions. I look around, I explore. Of course, it depends. Like if I just want to finish a mission now, I might go a little more quickly. So I might decide to just ignore what's above me and just go forward, and that's a perfectly valid way to play too. You're just not going to get as many of the crystals, and you won't be able to buy certain things later. There's health pickups along the way. You can see things can get like a little more hectic. It's pretty cool. But since I'm not probably going to play through all of Nira's storyline on this file, I'm probably going to see if I can keep doing it on one file. Right now I'm just going to go. But you can see things start to get pretty crazy. Like right now I'm just kind of moving freely. I'm not really worrying about stopping to look around, just so you guys can kind of enjoy a little bit of the area and kind of see how things move. You'll notice there's a lot of stuff going on. It actually does all make sense. Like there are like enemies sometimes attacking you throughout the level. A boss might be setting up, like breaking down trees as you're moving through a zone. They do a lot of environmental storytelling like that, which is pretty cool. I quite enjoy that. Sometimes you might need to go down to progress, or down or up to progress, so you can't always just run to the right of the screen and have that succeed, which I think is cool. It really changes things up. Now, one thing I always have a problem with in games, and maybe you're like me, and that's that I often don't want to use my special moves, and I don't know why I'm like that so much. I'm so conservative about it, and oftentimes that's causes me trouble, because I should be using those abilities, and they vastly make the game a lot easier. Right now I'm trying to make an effort to use them more, because your character has a lot of power built into those, and they're not meant to be these like big rare things. I also have to get used to Nira's usage of them, because I know Lilac's but I don't know
Out of my way.
all of hers. So it's helpful to kind of experiment a little bit. I'm gonna just freeze this. Well, no, never mind. I didn't get a chance to freeze them. So yeah, you do kind of want to explore.
Interesting.
Oh, and here's an example of something. I found a Bravestone, and then I got a bunch of crystals here. Now, these chests, this one was put like right in your way, because it's the first level. They want to make you kind of think, oh, this game has chests to find. So really good design there. It forces you to think about things. As you play it, you get pretty used to the things. The only thing that I sometimes have trouble with is when there's a new enemy, you might be a little bit confused as to how they attack. You might miss a dodge or two, but it becomes clear. You don't get too punished if you get hit a few times. They tend to be pretty generous with the healing, so it's never too bad. But it's never too easy either, to the point where like you're just kind of sitting there being like, oh, that, like those little petals, those are healing. You're never just sitting there going like, oh, you know, the game's too simple, I can't die at all. And let's say you do feel that way, there are items you can take which vastly increase your score, which change all healing items into just crystals, or do other things that are kind of like that, in order to help give you a reason to do things a little differently. Oh, I don't have enough energy to do that. There we go. So I think that's great because it's a little more modular. You can kind of play at your own, you know, skill level. I gotta be a little more careful about opening with that attack, because those things are just shooting me. But, you know, that's the fun of things, is learning how to play. Anyways, I'm gonna try to rush ahead so you guys can see that golden thing right there. That's often in exchange for items. So finding those is good. You can also trade things for them in towns. Yes, this game has some towns, which is just interesting. Not like the most like robust feature, but it's nice to have, like, you know, some exploration like that. You can see there's definitely things like this, like the wind, which shoot you up. Like even in this first level, there's a lot of things going on, which is kind of fun. I just want to kind of get us to the boss. You see, this is pretty cool. I could stop running if I wanted to, but it looks too cool, so I don't want to. They do really neat things like that. There's even some bosses you fight where you're just running the whole time. You know, it's obviously scripted a bit, so you can keep that speed going, so you can never go too slow. But I like that they play around with how the bosses go. You always know a boss fight's starting, and let's take a look at this basic fight. So you see this one lands. I can dodge when it's coming close. I can run through him though, no problem. He has some weak points. Now, most bosses have a weak point. His is in this enemy's case, it's the those red things right there. You can see its health going down as I'm launching these attacks. Now, I'm not playing very well right this second because I'm kind of getting a little goofy, just trying to show some stuff off. But like if I do this, I can get my attack there. Now, Nira, because she has those quick attacks, I probably want to make use of them, but I have to be a little more careful about how I'm doing them. I'm gonna do some big hits. So I gotta be a little careful as I jump. I'll probably be okay though, because, well, unless I goof around a lot. There we go. Even playing pretty poorly while just kind of experimenting with the different attacks. I didn't do this attack. I kind of should have probably messed around with it. You know, you can still win the first few fights, and it's even though I was really close to losing there, it's not too bad. But it's fun, and I really like how different the character actually plays. Like Nira, it does feel very different from playing as Lilac. You know, the speed, the choices of attacks you have, it does matter. So I'm gonna have to explore with that a little bit more when I do my playthrough as her. But I really like her. She's cool.
You fought well. Too bad you're on the wrong side.
And then you get those cool, you know, the cool little finisher. You get scored. Like even though I was kind of not doing so great on that one, I got an A, so it's fine. And like 9 minutes, 15 minutes for a level isn't too uncommon. You can see up here, now that we're on a world map. Yeah, surprise, there's a world map. there's like that little CD that's missing. I didn't find the music box that was there. I can go back to the tutorial if I need to, but I can also go to a zone, and this is a hub area. Let's exit here though. Let's go back to the main menu. Let me show off some of the other characters in case you're curious about that. So I'm just going to show those really quickly, just because I think it's valuable. I'm not going to take as long to explaining the basics. You can see here, our friend here will run very differently. No double jump, but I have one of these, you know, like a Yoshi jump. You might notice that she also has this kind of power attack. When she stands, she's got that very martial artist look thing going on. Very short range attacks. I don't know how good those are. Oh, and she can dig. I'm not sure what she can find with digging, or if she can actually find things with digging. I remember that she could do that, but she's got no jumping down attack. Some enemies do, or some characters do. Her only down attack thing is mashing the attack button down here and digging. I don't know what the point of that is. Maybe we'll find out here. But okay, let's just rush through here, give you guys a little clue as to this. You know what? I'm gonna try to dig on this enemy. Okay, it doesn't do anything. And for her dodge, oh, it just summons her her little thing there. She has a shield that she can make. When you're activating it, you can't move, and when you let go of it, it fires a shot, and it does recoil the shots. That's pretty cool. And you can also just release it quickly, so you can do this like, you know, your Mega Buster. Feel a little bit like Mega Man, or just firing tons of ki blasts in DBZ, which we know never do any damage to anything because that's never killed an enemy ever, I'm pretty sure. Okay, but let's see. So yeah, reflecting attacks, that's pretty nice. So that's something unique to her. When she dodges, she summons this big goo. So that big goo, you might notice my attacks were a little bigger there and then they shrunk. It makes these attacks stronger. Or you can do the little Hadoken thing going there, and that also gives you some extra air. So I did play as all the characters a little bit before when I first booted up the game, so I kind of remember this. But it's kind of cool, and you can see just how different. Now I can't reach that by, oh, I could do this to get it, but they don't want me to do that. They want me to do this, and maybe I should not miss, right? But yeah, character plays very differently. It's pretty cool. I think that's enough showing that part. I don't want to waste too much time, you know, showing all this, because, you know, who's gonna watch like 50 minutes of this? Okay, let's look at Carol, and then I'll talk a little bit about Lilac. I really like Carol. She was the one I played through in Freedom Planet 1. The graphical style has changed a little bit since then. They're a little taller as characters. So Carol doesn't have a double jump per se. She has a jump and then a lunge. Kind of makes you think of Knuckles. And she can go on walls and jump up them. Many characters can do this on certain walls. There's some walls you can't do that on. I think Lilac can do the same. If I'm remembering correctly. But as I recall, Carol could do it on more walls, or maybe Carol's the only one who can do it. That might be weird to not remember, but Lilac can kind of fly, so you know, I don't often have to really worry about that. Now you might notice that Carol is a very quick attacker, so she is very fast with her strikes, which is something I tend to love. Also, when she's running, she can do the old, a very familiar thing that a hedgehog might be able to, which is tuck in and do a spin attack. But you don't always get the chance to get the speed to do that. I guess you can do it pretty quickly if you just run a little bit and move. It's a little bit of damage. I wonder how damaging it actually is. Yeah, actually, you know what? I don't think Lilac can do the jump up because they're highlighting that ability here. So like taking a look at the attacks, she's pretty strong. Let's see what her dodge is like. Basic dodge, I'm not sure if there's any follow-up to it. It looks like there might not be. She might not have any, like, if I do that, but she can always do that, I'm pretty sure. So she might not have a specific bonus to dodging. I'll have to see when I play her again what her mechanics are. But this launch attack, you can do a follow-up attack, so AA or jump attack. It has a different style of strike, you might notice, as opposed to her other ones. That's a really strong attack from what I remember from playing her in the other game. So that's useful. So she's fairly good at being mobile, pouncing on enemies, which, you know, fits being a cat. She also has this thing where she can throw that little, I don't know, like a wheel, I think it's supposed to be. Her jump disc, that's what it's called. And that can help you move around. And I'm pretty sure it does some damage. I think it makes you invincible while you're doing it. Yeah, you get a little bit of invincibility. And that's just telling me about my attacks. But it gives her some movement options. So she gets some vertical height. Or, I think, yeah, she can even get diagonal height, which is pretty cool. There's that jump attack, so you can see it. I missed that, but because I can shoot past it, I can get things like that. So you can see just how different all these characters play. Carol's a lot more of a quick brawler. Nira has a lot more options, and I think she might be, I don't know if she's actually tankier, but she feels like she can take quite a few hits. I was playing pretty poorly as her. Carol also has the motorcycle, which returns from her other game. It has some unique attacks on it. You can still do like your basic attacks. You lose the ability to do your pounce attack, but you have this cool little kickflip thing. You can also go like on walls, and you can also do, when you hit the dodge, you do this like little boost, and it looks like it shoots out some stuff. Now I believe you can also throw the motorcycle, and you can also get it back. So I think if you do, yeah, if you hold the dodge button after throwing it again, you can pick it back up, which is neat. I remember in the other game, I was always like a little bit about the motorcycle, because if you didn't have it, well, it wasn't really like an attack you could rely on. And sometimes you don't want to be on the motorcycle all the time. So being able to toss it away and then get it back if you want to, like, look, I don't have to select it again when I toss it. It's only if I hold guard afterwards. So let me hold guard afterwards, or hold guard during, that I can leap back onto it, which is cool. It does expect some degree of competence from, you know, the player. So that's really neat. I really like Carol. She's cool, she's fun, and you can see, you know, everyone has their unique animations. So nice. We got that. Let's go back to the main menu. And let's take a look at my main file right now, where I've only played, well, not too long. I don't know what that time is supposed to stand for, but okay. Let's just open this up so I can talk about some other features. So the map gets pretty big. Let me just run around it a little bit. You can see there's an airship, because, you know, any good adventure game has an airship in it. Anything that's blue is a level. The green stuff are hubs. There's a battle sphere arena where you can fight things and earn stuff. There's also like a training place where you could fight your allies. There's like in sparring matches. So there's quite a few things that you can do. You know, there's big fights and everything like that. So that's nice. Let's drop into a basic hub. I won't jump into one that's too far away, but I'll give you an idea of a few of them. So a hub is basically just like a normal level, where you can go in, and there's often things to visit. Sometimes there's people around. Sometimes there's, you know, little things to look at. There can be some little secrets hidden around down here. Like you can get down here. I think there was someone to talk to earlier. There's salespeople too. So for example, you can go to this shop and you can buy something like this. Crystals to petals. All crystal flowers in the stage become life flowers. So this is something for somebody who's not quite so good at the game. You pick this up, and now, you know, you can get more healing stuff. Element Burst. This makes it so that your attacks cause lingering water damage to enemies. Pretty cool. These things are helpful for players that aren't super strong. Let's take a look what's going on here. Okay, no news. Right. I guess there's events that happen afterwards, because I haven't checked back in here. So whenever you see a light bulb, that means there's something new that the character has not said. Oh, and because my brain's a little scattered, let's look at Lilac's abilities. So she has like a basic combo, like a 1-2 combo. 1-2, 1-2. Yeah. She's got this cool uppercut thing, which gives her some vertical height. She can use it after a jump. So that's her version of a double jump, where she can do this and then that. It's not as controlled as Nira is not as easy to use, but definitely still usable. Mostly, I find myself doing this because it's on the jump button where you do this little spin. And it does damage as you spin, which is cool. You can also use that on the ground by pressing down and attack. If you hold down and attack, she does this little further range whip, which is pretty useful. If you press forward while attacking, you'll do a boot kick sometimes. You see that? So characters do change a little bit like that. And then, of course, you have that. Her big thing is the Dragon Boost. So the Dragon Boost is this. Now, this makes you invincible the whole while using it. It makes you move pretty quickly, so you can rush through areas. You can also aim it, so I can go diagonally. Most importantly, it also bounces off of walls, so you can ping pong off of walls to get to higher areas. You can also release it early, and you leave that little like star explosion there. What do they actually call it? The boost breaker. And that does a nice amount of damage. That shadow clone you see, that's not always there. That's from an item, which is pretty cool. It does actually do follow-up attacks, but her dodge is basically a basic dodge, and then she can launch herself forward if I hold the dodge button, or I can just press it and not do the follow-up. But that does some nice damage, and it usually gets you to like a decent spot. So you can jump, dodge, and then do that. She's got a lot of chances to become invincible because she can dodge attack and then use her Dragon Boost, attack a few times, then go back in, Dragon Boost again. So that's pretty helpful. Let's see, anything else here? You can see some of the humor here too. I think the game has some excellent humor. It's silly. It's not super serious, of course. It's not like it's not highbrow humor, but it's fun. Character designs are also cool. Like, I like all the animals and all the types. You can also look at those in a glossary. But yeah, movement is very fun as Lilac. I really enjoy playing as her as well. All the characters are really cool. And that's something that I'm excited about, is that there's a lot of replay value. Music is also excellent now that I'm going to a few different zones. Let's talk about items. Let me go to like a recent level. So let's go here. This is a place I haven't done yet. Let me tell you about items. So you can make item sets. Let's take a look what I picked here. Now these, by selecting these, you don't get a bonus to your score. If you select nothing, you get a bonus 10% to your score. Some of these will give you, well, not much bonus at all. Some of these will give you some bonus. So I have one that does give me a bonus. This increases the number of crystals I would need to get a stock. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting less lives in a level, but I'm pretty sure I can handle that. So I have that as my like negative balance to the fact that I'm using the this one for the guard, because I think that one's pretty cool. I might recommend, you know, if you're not really too great at the game, you pick something up like this. The most helpful one though I think is this Shadow Guard one. Maybe this one where the lingering water damage would be pretty useful. Then you also have a potion slot. You have to buy this from you buy separate things to put into your potion, so you can increase the you can reduce the number of crystals you need for a stock with this one. Your physical attacks absorb life, so if you like to have a little bit of leech, you can do that. I put 2 points into that. This increases the damage of your physical attacks. This increases your running speed, and this increases your jumping power. I'm sure that these things can all do pretty interesting things when mixed together. Right now, I just mostly want a little more attack and more life absorb, because that seems to be pretty good for me. I don't know if you can ever increase how much potion's there, but that doesn't seem to punish you with reduced scores. There might be something with that, I'm not sure, but I like it. You can kind of customize your own difficulty by doing that. So that's a pretty nice addition. Let's take a look at the beginning of the level. Let's see if this has a story. Yeah, it does.
Syntax is here too? It's like, well,
Hopefully it's not big spoilers.
Hey, get away from her! She's mine!
Oh, but she's very dangerous. You should let us big sisters take care of her.
No! She's the heart of my latest, greatest buddy yet! The BFF 3000! With her as the conduit, all three combiners...
Other characters call this one annoying too, so if the voice is grating you, it's kind of supposed to.
Where did she go?
I get the feeling we're about to find out.
But it's a good representation of what some of the cutscenes are like.
throne for me, monkey boy.
Hey! No fair cheating, you cheater!
I am not cheating! I'm just smarter than you. And now nothing will stop me from... As I would say, nothing will stop me from...
You'll be sorry when Murga shows up! We're gonna wake up Bakunawa, and she's gonna take me to outer space! Space!
Ha! Looks like we've got a junior astronaut here. Then join me. The great and generously giving Lord Brevin is
Lord Brevin's from the first game, so could be helpful to play that first one.
In lies and deceit.
Oh, yeah! Stop it!
And you, dog! I repeat my offer. Or would you rather your friends learn the truth?
What truth? That you're a miserable snake?
Join me, little one. And you may yet live to see your parents.
So you're not only a cheat, but a liar too. Brevin sure knows how to pick 'em.
Fine. Then witness.
I assume this is going to be a boss level.
Operational syntax.
We'll see.
Initiate code black.
As you wish, sir.
And they get pretty creative with their effects there too.
Yes! The infection is perfection! Your army is mine now! Go forth! Eliminate them!
In light of our mutually assured destruction, I believe a truce is in order.
Now sometimes they have these mixed battle levels where I'm trying to run and talk, where they will have the other NPCs kind of help you in a fight. They're not usually that helpful in the battle themselves. They will sometimes have some trouble, you know, surviving too long, but they'll be there. They'll distract the enemies a little bit. Not usually a big feature. I gotta be careful. These guys attack pretty quickly, so I gotta learn their style. You can see how the levels kind of like are all pretty different. Sometimes you get a more battle-focused level. So they make good use of the fact that you actually have a lot more options here in attacking. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to kill this thing super easy. There we go. Now, I could probably just run past a lot of these things, but right now I'm just showing them off. So you can kind of see the cadence of a level here. Oh. And see, these things can block, so there's things that start to have more unique methods of handling combat. So you gotta adapt yourself as well. And then I don't even know, I didn't know that thing was there, but there's always new things to look around in a level. And I like it because most zones, there's something different about each level. I'm not sure if the levels change based on which character you are, or not. I vaguely remember in Freedom Planet 1 there was some things that felt like that, but I didn't test it enough to say for sure. But with how differently they play, I think that'll be a lot of replay value for your experience. And I've been playing this for a bit, and I'm still not done with Lilac's story, so I think that's pretty interesting. Gives me a lot of hope that this will be pretty fun. But for right now, I'm going to pause the story right here, well, the video right here, and say, this game is really well worth your time. I think it's fantastic. I love the developers that do this. It's so nostalgic to me. It reminds me just of playing Sonic, you know, when I was a little middle schooler, and you know, except this time I can actually beat the games. But the way they mix combat, character design, dialogue, and everything together is just beautifully done. So highly recommend it. Go play it. I don't want to spoil more of it. It's super fun, and it deserves a lot of praise. So that's it. See you later.